at Old Trafford it seems to be whoever can put the most pressure on the other team and keep that the longest. And, you know, for the first 20 minutes, I felt like it was either way. But I think we kind of caught hold of that and got a stranglehold on the game. And to be able to kind of manage it, you know, we sort of managed it. But the intensity and the ferocity of the game, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, of course the intensity was a lot different. You could just tell that by the line speed and the way people getting up off the line and whacking each other, and the intensity rised again in defence because of the conditions that night. It was really wet. You just knew if you could get a good shoulder in or shot, the ball was going to pop out somewhere.
I think the pace of it were very quick, and we seemed to be going set for quite a while, and they seemed to be throwing quite a bit at us in the first half, but we managed to show it out, whereas we hadn't done the previous years.
You've got to play it quite boring grand final. You've got to kick well. You've got to complete your sets. You've got to try not to make any errors, and there's certain moments in the game where you get like a little Mr. Geppetto conscience on your shoulder, where your body's gone, your legs can't move, you can't breathe. You've got this little man on your shoulder saying, just have a breather, just have a minute, you don't have to push across here. And the moment you do that, you leave a gap, somebody makes a break. You've got to ignore that guy and listen to the guy on the other shoulder that's saying, no, you need to be there for your mate. And you just keep pushing through, and that's the intensity that you're asking the other team the question, can you do that? Can you keep up with this?
Most of the game is actually a blur, and I think it had to be that way with my shoulder, and it had to be fully focused on what I had to do, because otherwise I'd have been half-hearted, and that's not the best thing to be at Old Trafford pitch. But yeah, there's a specific memory. I remember kind of going through the line and getting tackled and almost hurting my shoulder. And my shoulder had come up too far than where it wanted to go. And physio came on and I didn't want to come off, and I thought I want to finish the game.
When you win a final, you look back and all you remember is the faces in the photo. You know, you've got your photo at the end and you're all on the little podium there with the trophy and you're all going mad. And over time, when you look back over years, you remember every single face. Someone like, I don't know, Chris McKenna, Marcus Byer, Richie Mathers and Dave Furner, and you can't remember a single play from the game, but there's some small moments. Rob Burrow scoring that try, I think, in 2011 when he ducked under everybody, which was amazing. And the reason why I remember it is because I wanted ball. I was trying to get the ball off him, and he run, I was fuming. But then he ducked, dive, weaved in, out, scored a try. I'm like, ah! It was ace. And something else I always remember about grand finals is we always score second. That wasn't the case this time.
Yeah, the big game finals can be a bit of a blur. Only probably because I knock my head about every time I seem to play in them. I think it's the second Super League grand final I've been a part of, and it's the second one I've been split open and had a big head collision. So it's not a blur. It just goes really quick, you know. By the time that ball gets kicked off to the time it ends, it's over like that.
They go quick, to be honest. I don't know why. To be honest, I couldn't really tell you. I think it's just the whole occasion, you know, especially the week and the build-up and stuff like that. It always seems to go quick. And one minute we were kicking off, and then next minute we're in second half, and then next minute it's game over, and we're lifting trophy. And although it did go quick, I remember being able to manage to take everything in and remember quite a bit about the game. I
knew right in the opening stages of the game that we were on a good track. And the reason why I know is because Cass have blown us away at the start of games all year, and even last year as well. They put us to sword early on, and experience tells me that the longer you can keep it close, the more the opposition melts. And we started really well. We got a few repeat sets. I remember chasing, I think, a Liam Sutcliffe kick or a Ryan Hall kick. I don't know what they were doing, messing about there, and somebody kicked it. And I just chased it and got a repeat set, and I thought, we're building the pressure here. And everybody just kept running with blood to water. So I knew quite early on that I think we had a decent bug.
You could just tell by the opening defensive set when we went out there and we put in hard, and they didn't get the greatest kick off in the first defensive set, kick on the last tackle in the first defensive set. It's generally a good sign, and I just knew the boys would thrive on that and feed on that, you know. After you do a solid opening defensive set, it always builds confidence. Finally got the ball in my hands, and I went into a tackle and I was sort of turning just to like think about offloading, or at least keep it as an option to make them fall off the tackle a bit, but they just twisted me. And I felt myself roll over my ankle, which is, when I got up, was the thing that was hurting the most. I thought I'd torn something in my ankle because I heard a big pop. I sat out there for about 10 minutes, I think, and I got to a point where it just felt like my whole knee was going to go, or my ankle was, there was something, I just knew there wasn't something right. I came off the field, they assessed it. I think Ben's told me a few times, like we've had a laugh about it now, that he knew my knee was not healthy at all. But he just reassured me because he knew it was not going to do any further damage. That was okay. So I just strapped it up as tight as I could, really, and did my first run down the field. Doc's given me a few painkillers to take and that. My first run down the field, I just thought, this is stupid. So it was just so frustrating, and I had to have that conversation with Mac over the speakers, the headphones and that, and just reassured him that if I went out there, it was not to do anything spectacular, but just be a spanner in the works, I suppose. And so, yeah, I got out there and just did my best from then on. It was painful and it hurt a lot, but the team's backed me and helped me a lot in that game as well. There was plenty of positive talk and kept me going throughout the whole thing.
And it led up to like 75th minute, and obviously way in front. And I just allowed myself to smile. You know, there's very rarely I smile on a rugby pitch. Although I enjoy what I do, there's not much time to allow yourself to take your foot off the gas. But 75 minutes gone, I thought after all this week and, you know, all the weeks build up and whether I wasn't going to play and whether I could play, I just thought I'm going to smile here and just enjoy it and just look around and enjoy the moment. And we'd done something of a big magnitude, and it was brilliant. And, you know, just to enjoy that moment and to kind of feel it fully, it were brilliant.
The moment I knew we won in the grand final, it's funny to say this, but part of me never thought we were going to lose that. The day from kickoff, I swear to you, I looked at my own teammates, I looked at the opposition, and I just knew there was something about today.
My rule of thumb with Leeds Rhinos is a point a minute. So I know we can accumulate a point a minute. So, you know, if we're 18 points down, but there's 20 minutes to go, we can still win, without a doubt. And I always believe that it's going to be tough for a team to score more than a point a minute on you. It happens occasionally, but it's very rare, particularly in big games when everybody's putting a body on line. So I think Magsy scored a few points towards back end and started running about. I think he dropped a goal, didn't he? And he got that try, little kick through back end. And when that happened, I remember walking back and seeing that sea of orange cast fans and just keeping myself to myself. Like, yeah, I think we've got this in the bag here. I think we've disappointed that lot. Despite the fact they've beat us a million times in a row or whatever it was.
I think I knew we'd won when Magsy scored off the kick. Did we put a kick up in air and it bounced back and Magsy ended up picking it up off floor and dived over, and then I think as soon as he scored that, I thought, nah, there's no way they'll come back. I think they might have had to score like 3 tries or something to come back to us by then. I thought, no, there's not a chance we'll be letting in 3 tries. So you seem to get a bit more relaxed now, and then you start to get a bit more smiley and stuff like that, and then, you know, you just get buzzing for the celebrations. When
the hooter went, it was quite a strange thing because a lot of the lads just went into shaking hands because I think because we knew we'd won for 10-15 minutes, it was almost like, right, pay respect to Cass and do all that, and I didn't know what to do. I kind of jumping and shouting and guess just finding an avenue to show my joy and elation.
When the hooter went, who did I celebrate with? I was around a ton of people. I think one of the first guys I grabbed was Matty Parcell. Pretty sure he was right near me. I'm trying to think. Oh no, this makes sense now. Why I can't remember. I got knocked out in the last minute.
One of the things I remember is Adam Cuthbertson when he whacked his head up, and he whacked it on my head, so it was a pretty sore moment. As soon as he whacked me, I thought, there was only about a minute left or something like that. I thought, no way, what's going on? I was thinking, I'm going to be bleeding and everything. And then I looked up and realised it was him who'd cut his head. So I'm pretty glad about that, to be honest.
I grabbed the physio because he was trying to get me off the field because I got knocked out. So I think I celebrated with the physio. I don't know. funny you bring that up. I should probably look. Probably good for my memory and the future of my brain.
The best thing about Old Trafford, just in comparison to Challenge Cup, is it's the last game of the year. No more games to play. So you're not on holiday and nobody can take that win away from you until at least February, the year after. So it's one of them where you wake up smiling. People say you're only as good as your last game, but when you were good in Old Trafford Grand Final, you're good for a long time.